Do you know how to Korea?
How to Korea?
How to
How
Korea?
to Korea?
Out of Korea.
How to Korea? This is How to Korea.
So welcome to How to Korea, where we talk about how to survive in Korea as a foreigner. Make sure you like and subscribe our videos. Make sure you like and subscribe to our videos. And leave comments so we know what to talk about in our future videos. Below, there's some links below. So make sure you check those out too. Links to our Facebook, Instagram, etc. The whole shebang. And Ian's going to tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today.
Hey guys, 안녕하세요 여러분. On today's episode, we're going to be touching on a few things. This episode is basically aimed specifically at the people arriving to Korea. So this is your welcome to Korea episode, right? So what to expect when you get to the airport, things you should do your first few weeks in Korea. We're going to touch on your getting a phone number as soon as possible, because you're going to need that to use all the apps for public transport, for so many different things, for ordering food, for shopping. You need that number to authenticate who you are. And yeah, we're going to be touching on a couple of those things. And one more thing, guys, if you watched the first episode, thank you. And then
We can say that now.
yeah, if you watched the first episode, thank you for bearing with us. We saw a lot of things that we had to change there, so we made a couple of adjustments. Hopefully the sound this time is so much better, because we know the first one, the audio was terrible. So hopefully the sound's much better this one, and we changed some of the angles and stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching, and be sure to comment in the section below for future things that you want to know or you want us to discuss in the future episodes. So
Well, before we even start, I kind of want to talk about, like, you talked about that process of, like, us changing stuff for our second episode.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if we talked about this in our, like, fifth recording of the first episode, but how difficult it was and, like, how many retries we did and all the things we ran into.
even still, it's still difficult.
Yeah, it
man.
is,
It's
it
getting
is.
easier, but
Yeah.
there's just so many roadblocks.
But we made a lot of changes as time passed. Like, in the beginning, we were recording at, we'll talk about this later too, but there's community centers that you can use for free. And you go there and, we went there and we had to check out 2 or 3 before we even picked one that we liked. But yeah, it was just setting up, removing, taking everything down, and then recording, figuring out how to record, how to combine shit, and then
Testing
finding
out
out.
the audio and realizing the audio was terrible.
Yeah, and then you finish editing the video, and it's like, well, shit, we can't use this,
No.
right?
Yeah,
We spent so much time. What did we spend, like 2 months just trying to do that?
it's been a journey.
Yeah,
And then we found a place that we wanted to use, and then they closed for renovations.
for 2 months.
2 months.
Right when we were about to, like, get into it.
We were ready. We
Yeah.
were ready to do episode 1 again.
And then we found another place. We tried recording. We actually tried recording there one episode.
I think we did do
I
an
think we
episode
did.
there. Yeah.
And we were gonna be like, this is gonna be our first episode. That's
Yeah.
what we decided. And then I was like, nah, because of the fan, the sound.
Yeah,
and the
they have
background.
those extractor fans in the ceiling,
Yeah.
but you can't turn them off because it's part of the whole building's system, I guess.
Oh.
Can't turn them off, and so you just hear that extractor fan. And we tried reducing the sound on the
No.
software, but yeah,
It didn't
nothing
work.
took it away.
No,
yeah.
no.
Well, it didn't help that our mics back then, like we had shitty mics as well.
Did we have? Oh, none of our videos have that goose mic, the one that I was using,
No.
right? Oh, terrible mic.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Anyway,
Yeah. So I think eventually us coming here though, your place is pretty cool that we have the setup is nice. We don't have
Yeah.
to change anything.
just hopefully it stays quiet, because sometimes, like I said, you hear these deliveries bikes drive past here.
Yeah, the motorcycles.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Don't
then
get
they're
me
gonna.
started on them.
Oh, dude. It's like, the whole driving thing. We'll get into a whole episode about that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Driving. So yeah, all right. So, do you remember your first time when you came to Korea?
I do vividly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Tell me.
You don't?
Not really.
Yeah, no. I remember most of it. Yeah, I came in, like I said, in December, and coming from South Africa, where it was the middle of summer, coming to Korea into the middle of winter.
Oh yeah, because your seasons are opposite. There.
Opposites, yeah. So yeah, I remember doing like some shopping and getting ready, getting myself prepared. But I mean, in South Africa, you can't really buy clothes
No.
for winter, especially in Korea, because the jackets and the stuff that we have
Oh.
it's not for this winter. It's for our winter.
Oh, it's warmer. the winter is warmer? Like I don't really know South Africa.
Yeah, no,
climate.
our winters never get as cold as this. Yeah, like we use degrees Celsius, so
I think
like-
everywhere except the U.S. uses Celsius. I think. Yeah.
anyway. So yeah, it almost never goes below 0. If it goes below 0, then people are like, oh my god, fucking something's wrong, we're gonna die. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't get that cold
Oh.
often.
When's your winter?
Winter is June, July, August,
That's so
around
funky.
there. Yeah.
It's so funky because everywhere. I mean, I guess it's just an American thing, but you don't think about winter in those months. Like,
Yeah, it's strange. Well,
Yeah.
we have the same as Australia.
wait, do you have Christmas in South Africa?
Yeah,
When is it?
in December,
In the summer?
in the summer.
That's so strange, bro. Christmas in the summer?
Yeah, we don't have white Christmas. No.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
no, I respect it, but like,
Yeah.
it just boggles
Usually,
my
like
mind.
our Christmas time is also holiday vacation time because in South Africa, December time, almost everything closes down. All the companies,
And, like
everything
schools
closes
and
down.
stuff, it's like summer
Schools
vacation.
are closed. Everything's closed. So December time is vacation time for most of the people in South Africa. So we just go on vacation to the beach or to holiday resorts. or
In the
whatever.
middle of December, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Anyway,
That's
so yeah,
crazy.
I was shopping around in the middle of December, shopping around for big jackets and thick jackets and stuff like that. And,
You were still in South Africa when you were shopping?
Yeah,
Okay.
and obviously walking around there, I'm in my shorts and a t-shirt, going to the place to say, like, I want the thickest jacket you got, and they're like, what?
No.
Where are you going?
Oh.
And yeah, so anyway, I ended up finding jackets and stuff, but it wasn't good enough, you know.
Yeah, it gets cold here. Like,
It was fucking cold, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if you can, before you come to Korea, maybe some of you are lucky you come from cold areas, so you'll be fine. But some of you coming from warmer areas, get yourself the thickest jacket you can, like the padding, you know, with the feathers, the down feathers and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be your best bet. And if you have a long one, even better. I never thought I'd see myself wearing one of those long padding jackets, because I don't know, it's
Yeah.
not really my style.
no.
But at the same time, fuck man, it saves
You
lives.
need that shit. Yeah.
It saves lives. Yeah.
The padding in the winter is a
Yeah.
lifesaver. Yeah. Without
So-
that, it's like your knees are just cold. Just your
Exactly,
fucking
yeah.
knees.
So I did my shopping, and oh, what a long ass flight! Because we had a 12-hour layover in Hong Kong.
Okay.
Yeah, 12-hour layover in Hong Kong. So we went out. Luckily, South Africans, we don't need a visa there because we need visas everywhere.
Mm.
But there, we just had like a day pass or whatever. So we went out, came back in, took the next flight, came to Korea, and
Wait, so how long was the flight from South Africa to Singapore? No.
no, to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
It was shit, maybe like 10 hours.
And then you had a 12-hour layover, and then
And then it was another like 6 hours or something. No, I don't know. I might be mistaken. But usually from South Africa to Korea, depending on which way you fly, you're looking at about 18 to 20 hours flight.
Jesus, even
And
like
it's,
with the
and it's,
reduced
and it's no
layover.
direct flights. It's obviously too far. So
Okay.
it's no direct flights. So you have to transfer somewhere. So I did it a couple of times. Transferred in Ethiopia once, Qatar once.
So you have a direct flight from Ethiopia to Korea?
Yeah.
Ethiopia is still kind of like in Africa.
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
North Africa.
Oh.
Yeah.
But there's a direct flight.
There's a direct flight. Yeah.
How far is it from like South Africa to Ethiopia?
About 8 hours flight.
Oh
Just straight
shit!
south. Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
same.
it's far. There's like a
same
90
continent.
degree. Yeah,
Yeah.
same continent. Yeah.
Jesus.
Africa is huge, bro.
Oh.
Africa's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got here off the airplane, and that cold hit me. That first cold.
As soon as you get off the plane,
As
it's
soon
just
as
like
I got off the
boom in your
plane,
face,
just,
yeah.
whoa, I'm not
Yeah.
ready for this, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, got our bags and everything, went out. Now I came over here with a
Wait, you came
coworker
in
of
July?
mine.
Oh, you came in December.
December, yeah.
yeah.
And first thing that got my attention was how these Korean people that were at the airport, I'm assuming most of them are Korean, I had my luggage on those little trolleys,
Oh.
and you know, it's all my luggage everything I've got. So push the button to take the elevator down to the first floor.
Mm.
Push the elevator button, and waiting. This button comes up, and there's a couple of people standing around me. When my elevator opened up, all of them got on the
Fucking
elevator.
bum rush.
All of them.
I call
got
that
on
the
elevator.
Korean bum rush, bro. Yeah.
I stood there, I looked at him and was like, guys, I pushed the button.
Yeah.
I was right in front.
Yep.
Everyone got on. Now there's not enough space for me and my trolley.
Yep.
And I was like, what have I gotten myself into?
This isn't. I can say this because I'm Korean. I think. I don't think it's racist when I say this.
Please say
But
it.
Koreans have no manners. There's no manners at all. If you're from a country that is accustomed to like people holding the door for you,
It's not everyone.
no, it's not. Of course
gonna
not.
say, it's
Of
not
course
everyone.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It's changing more towards
Yeah.
Western manners these days.
Yeah.
But like you come here and like nobody's gonna hold the door for you. Like
No
even
one.
if you're right behind, they're not.
And
gonna,
even if you hold the door for them,
it's
some of them will say thanks.
yeah.
Some of them will just like, what are you doing?
It's strange for them. It's like if
Yeah.
you hold the door for them, like
Yeah.
especially I remember when I first came here, I was holding the door for almost everybody, right?
Yeah.
Because it's what I'm used to. And some of the girls would look at me strange, like I was trying to hit on.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
hitting
no,
on them.
bitch, please. Like I'm just trying
Yeah.
to fucking hold the door for you. Like relax,
Just
you know?
being courteous.
Yeah, just like it's you're not that hot, but it's shit like that where you hold the door for people or knocking is not very common here either. It doesn't seem like. No,
I don't know. I haven't experienced that.
Okay.
much. Yeah.
there were some other things that I saw. Yeah, like what Ian was saying. Basically, it's me first, kind of.
Oh yes.
That's what it feels like.
And that's the same way with driving. We'll get into driving.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
But that's exactly the same way that they drive.
Yeah.
Like no one will give you a gap,
No.
and they will take gaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, the other one. Sorry, I remember. I don't mean to interrupt you,
No.
but the other one was subways and buses. So subways are the big one, right? Because what happens is, well, I'm used to in the subway when before you get on, you wait for people to get off
Get
the
off.
fucking train, right? Like you don't try to go in and out together because it's just congestion.
Yeah, of course.
Korean people don't do that, man.
Yeah,
They
as soon
just-
as the
they
doors
just walk
open, they
in.
go,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They don't care who's coming out. They
Mhm.
just push the people back in. And I've seen people miss their exit because they couldn't get out because they were just being rushed back in.
And
It's
another
crazy.
thing you see, is same on the subway. Talking about common decency is when you see like there's special sections for older people and for pregnant women and whatever special assigned seats for them.
Yeah,
But then sometimes you'll see like younger guys, whatever. You see an old lady standing there holding onto a pole because
Yep.
there's no seats for her.
Yep.
But this younger generation, they'll sit and play on their phones.
Yep.
You know, not stand up, not give their seats or stuff like that.
no.
That
Same thing on the
happens.
buses too.
Same thing on
Like
the
in the
buses.
front, you got
Yeah.
little kids sitting there and like they won't fucking move for the
Yeah.
older people. Like it's just, and that's just how
Sad.
it is, you
Yeah,
know.
sad.
But it's surprising because like
Mm.
their whole like the whole Korean culture is like respect your elders and like you have this whole different language for people older than you. You have different terms for what you're supposed to
Yeah.
call them.
But when it comes to stuff like that,
It's just there's no respect, you
Yeah.
know. Like it's
weird.
so strange. Yeah.
I think in the Western culture, we don't have the special way to address your elders and stuff like
No,
that.
Yeah.
You do it with manners, obviously, but there's no special language for that.
No, you're not calling people older than you sir and ma'am every time. That's
Every
kind of the
time.
feeling, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you call everybody sir and ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you're not doing that.
But still, there's that common respect between if you see an older person on the bus standing, it's like, please take my chair.
Yeah.
You know,
But
take my seat.
funny thing is, it works the other way too, where like an older person they feel more entitled sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, and like of course there are certain things that they should, you know, like the bus seat, sure, things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But there's old people in Korea don't give a fuck, man. They
We
don't
said
give
this
a
in
fuck.
the first episode.
Did we?
as well, Yeah.
Oh my god, bro! Like they don't.
We're
give a fuck.
emphasizing that they just don't give a fuck.
It's to the point where I don't even remember I talked about it because it's such an impact.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but they.
They run this place.
Oh,
man.
dude, yeah, and like.
But also, like if you take it, like speaking of Korea's history, right? 50 years ago, this place was nothing.
Yeah.
70 years ago, this place was nothing.
Yeah.
Those older people worked their fucking asses off to get this place to where it is.
Yeah.
So
They built the country on their backs.
They
man.
built
Oh,
exactly.
oh.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, so you feel entitled. I mean, I
you gotta
respect that.
take your hats off for
yeah.
them, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so back to
Yeah.
the airport.
So they're
all
at the
those
elevator.
people.
Went down the elevator.
That happened twice.
Oh,
That happened.
so you
twice.
waited? You waited?
I waited twice.
Oh.
Right. Push the button again. Same thing happened, and I was like, no way. I thought
Mm-hmm.
I was being pranked, you know. I thought, oh, this is how they get the foreigner at the airports or something,
Oh,
you know.
well.
No cameras. No one came out and said you've been punked or anything.
I thought it was on vibrate. That's my bad.
No worries. But yeah, so I was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what's this happening?
No.
So then I thought, okay, I'm tired. I've just been on a 20-hour flight. So I
Yeah.
haven't slept. So I haven't showered. So I'm not gonna be nice now.
So you learned about Korean culture, like on your elevator, right?
In 30 minutes. 30
On your
minutes
first
of getting off the
elevator,
plane.
right?
So
Fuck
I
this.
just pushed in. When that door opened, I
Oh.
just pushed in and said, I don't care if you guys can wait for the next one. I've waited twice already.
Oh,
You know.
oh.
Went down, and then our recruiter. So sometimes if you have nice recruiters or a nice boss, or if you got a pretty sweet deal, there will be someone meeting you at the airport, right? That has happened to some of my friends where people meet them at the airport.
Really? Even if you're not working in Seoul, they'll come all the way to Seoul and meet you at the airport?
Some recruiters, if they have like, because you get some recruiters that you pay and they have all these services that's included. So they'll have someone meet you at the airport and whatever.
All right.
I didn't. So we just got a message from the recruiter saying, okay, you need to go to Cheongju, right? So we got off the airport, looked for the bus service, the information service. So we went there. They explained to us how to get to the place where we buy the bus tickets.
Yeah.
And
So you took the bus?
we took the bus because it's only 2 hours south from Seoul.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like west, but it's not. It's like central. Yeah,
Yeah.
You said it's near Daegu, kind of. More north of Daegu, right?
More north of Daegu, yeah. So we bought the ticket, got to the bus, and right before we got on the bus, we checked the ticket again just to double check, because the problem is the names of these cities are so similar.
So a foreigner, yeah.
For a foreigner, yeah.
Oh,
So now for me, like, I get it now,
Oh.
you know, because now I can read the Korean and the English and I can distinguish. But when I first got here, we were supposed to go to Cheongju, and right next to Cheongju is Cheongju. So if you like say it and you read it that way, it's like pretty similar, you know, Cheongju.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we realized that we bought the wrong ticket. So we had to go
shit.
back.
It's a good thing you checked.
Yeah, good thing we checked. We went back, changed the tickets, and then eventually got into the right one. 2 hours later, we got to Cheongju, and then the boss picked us up from the bus station.
And
She
there-
took us to work
Right as soon as you got there?
as soon as we got here.
Jesus Christ.
She took us to work.
bro.
We haven't slept, we haven't showered, we haven't done anything. She took us to work, and
This is the
because-
kindergarten?
that's kindergarten, yeah.
Jesus.
She took us straight to work.
See, but after having worked here for a few years, you realize how desperate she must have been for you to be there.
The thing is, we still had 2 teachers working there, but
Oh.
she wanted us to get into that training as soon as possible. Because that's the main thing. A lot of teachers that come to Korea, some of them get training, some of them don't get training,
Oh.
you know?
Mm.
And the training is the most important part. Sometimes you get a week of training. We had 2 days. Yeah. We had 2 days of training, and then we just jumped into the teachers we replaced, they left.
So let's back up a little bit
Yeah.
because we're already talking under the premise that you got your job before you came to Korea.
Yes.
So I think we should talk a little bit about that because, like, what was the process like? How did you get it? Things like that.
Well, I had interviews with 2 people.
Like
right.
via Skype.
So there's a page. We'll also try and remember to link this page down in the thing. Dave's ESL Cafe. Do you know?
I heard about that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you have to pay for that.
No.
Oh, if you're a recruiter. you
Maybe
have
I
to.
think if you're a recruiter,
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Or if you want to post, yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Something
you
like
have to
that.
pay or something.
But you
yeah.
can just view it. Okay.
But for teachers, you can just go in and click
Right.
and send. Yeah.
Right.
So I found I don't know. I think one of my mates, he sent me the link to say Dave's ESL Cafe, and that's where you can check all the jobs available. Not all of them, but a lot of jobs available.
Hold on. Well,
Yeah.
you keep talking because I want to put this on vibrate.
Okay. Anyway, so I checked on the Dave's ESL Cafe and saw a bunch of jobs, and clicked on, because I quit my job in South Africa as a high school teacher. I quit my job, so I was gonna start again. So I wanted to go as soon as possible. My last day of work was like in the first week of December.
Okay.
So I wanted to come to Korea as soon as possible. It couldn't wait too long, right?
Okay.
So then I saw this job opened up, and they needed someone for December.
Okay.
Right? Late December.
Oh.
So clicked on that one, called. There was 2 actually that I clicked on, and I sent an email, sent my resume, whatever, and had a Skype interview with the first place,
Okay.
right? The one that I took the job, and then I had another interview for another place, in Daejeon, I think that's what it was.
Which is similar to Cheongju, like distance wise.
Yeah, it's not too far away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so these were both from Dave's ESL.
Yeah, just different links there. But speaking of the first one that I had the interview with, like I could see it was a legit place, right?
What do you mean?
I'll tell you what I mean.
Oh.
So the woman, I called my director, right, and I spoke to her, and clearly she was Korean, and we spoke, had a conversation. She asked a bunch of questions, whatever, typical interview, and then she said, "Okay, just hold on. I'm gonna give the phone to the current teacher that is here, and then you guys, the foreigner, yeah, you guys can just have a chat, and you can ask him some questions or whatever." Okay, cool. So already I saw that. No, that's a good sign, you know.
No.
So she walked through the academy, and I could see there's
I was like on the
classrooms.
phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could see the different classrooms and
Yeah.
whatever, and she knocked on the door and said, "Yeah, can you just talk to this guy quickly?" And then he took the phone, and we had a nice conversation, probably 20 minutes or so. I asked him a bunch of questions related to the work and related just to Korea in general.
Right.
A bunch of questions, and yeah, that was fine. So I was happy about that. And then I thought, let me just take the other interview as well, just to see what's going on. Because the other one I had a little bit more money, like the offer
The
was
pay
a
was
little bit
okay.
more.
Pay
Pay
was
was a little
higher.
bit more.
Yeah.
So I called this guy, and it was weird. It was strange.
But tell me how.
I called, and my camera was off, right?
Okay.
So I think it was a Skype call as well. My camera was still turned off. This guy answered.
No.
And he thought that his camera was off as well.
Okay.
Okay. This guy was not Korean.
Oh, he wasn't Korean.
He wasn't Korean.
Okay.
He was some recruiter,
Okay.
right? But he wasn't Korean. He was some recruiter. The best way I can put it was he looked like maybe a Pakistani, Indian,
Okay.
somewhere around that world.
So dark skinned.
Dark skinned.
Okay.
Yeah, and he had that accent as well, like Indian
accent,
Pakistani,
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So the weirdest part, he had a wig on.
A wig.
A wig.
Not like a turban.
And like a proper like
Like a hair wig.
a hair wig,
Okay.
And while he thought his camera was off, I saw him adjust it and like fix it to his head.
Yeah.
And anyway, hello, hey, hi, hello, how are you? Blah blah blah. And we started talking, and that whole interview, I just like saw red flags everywhere. Like I just got a feeling. I can't remember in detail, but the first one was the wig.
Yeah.
But I knew something's up. Right, something's up here.
Yeah.
And then I asked him, can you show me the school and whatever? And he's like, unfortunately, I can't do it right now. And in the back, it was just white in the back.
It's
you
probably
know,
at home or something.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything that told me like this place was legit.
Oh.
The only thing that he sent me was a contract, and he wanted me to send the contract. But nothing else. Like I couldn't talk. I asked him about the schedules, and he explained like a typical schedule. Nothing special about the schedule.
Was this also a kindergarten?
This was also a kindergarten.
Okay.
Yeah, this was also a kindergarten. But like, I just had a bad vibe the whole interview. It was like, no, I'm not gonna do this one.
Oh.
So I stuck to the
So
first
you
one.
saw the post on Dave's ESL and you reached out and you say, "Hey, I'm interested in working in Korea." Why Korea? Because of your friend, you said?
Yeah, because my friend, he was here. Cameron was here for 5 years or so.
Oh.
And then, I thought it'd be nice to go to a new country and at least have one friend in the area. You know what I mean? Instead of going to like Dubai where I don't know anyone.
But he wasn't working at that kindergarten. He was just in Korea.
He was just in Korea at that time. I think he was in Dongtan.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
close to Seoul.
Yeah, closer.
Yeah.
More east, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, he was in that area, so it wasn't too far away anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I decided to come to Korea, and
then I guess I kind of wanted to walk through the visa process, maybe
yeah.
like application,
Ooh, I can't remember.
just somewhat because I didn't go through that process, so I can't really speak to it.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
I didn't have to.
Okay, you didn't have to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a mission. I remember it was a mission. It wasn't easy. There's a bunch of documents that I had to get apostilled, but I mean, also this was 6 years ago, so I'm sure the system has changed now.
I think the apostle system is still there.
Yeah, but a lot of documents might have changed or whatever. So I had a teacher certificate, right? I had to get that apostilled.
You don't need a teacher certificate though. from
No,
what
no,
I
no, you
remember.
don't need
But you
it.
had one, so you needed it.
So I had
apostilled.
one, so I just want to get it apostilled anyway.
Well,
So I had that one, I got that apostilled. My degree, university degree, I had to get that apostilled.
no. Degree is that's usually
Yeah.
mandatory. Degree.
Passport,
You need a passport and you registered for the visa before you came.
before I came, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So I had to have all those things.
criminal background check
Criminal background check, that's
Yeah.
another one.
from
yeah.
your country,
Yeah.
and then you have to get that apostilled.
Get
I think
that
those are the two
apostilled.
things, right?
Yeah.
The two mandatory things from what I remember are criminal background check and then your degree, because you need at least a 4-year degree to teach in Korea.
To teach in Korea, yeah.
So those two things. And for those of you who are not familiar, like apostilled is basically like, I forgot the word, where you go to what is that word? Where you go somewhere and certified.
Oh,
No, is it certified? No, there's another word.
authenticate. Certify?
No, it's like anyway. It's basically a notary. That's the word I'm
Notary,
looking for.
yeah,
Notary.
Yeah.
So I think you go to a notary for this too.
I think.
Yeah, a notary or someplace in your country or city, I believe, like a government
Yeah,
institution.
we had a special place that we had to
Yeah.
go to, so I had to drive like hour and a half to go get
Yeah,
to
yeah,
that place.
yeah. So you can do that. And it's basically just certifying that the document you have, whether it be your diploma or whether
Or
it be your
background check.
background check, those are official, legitimate documents,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they're backing that document. That being said, if you don't have the documents before you come to Korea, there are ways. Because I remember I came here, and when I didn't need any of those documents when I came here. But when I started working at a hagwon, they're like, yeah, we need those documents. And I'm not going to spend fucking $3,000-$4,000 flying back.
Maybe for South Africans it's different because we need a visa to get into Korea.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Wait, but you need
But I think now it's changed.
no, because if you need a visa, that means you need to have those documents ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for like visiting purposes, I'm trying to remember because one of my friends, he's got a British passport, I think. So he
Yeah,
just
it
did it
depends on the
online.
passport,
He
yeah.
just did it online.
But even so, like if you're on an E2 visa, which is what you are, right?
Yeah.
E2. E2 means you're kind of like a immigrant worker or migrant worker or something along
But
those lines.
specializing in teaching.
In
English.
teaching only, right?
Yeah.
And that visa requires, in order to get your visa, they don't check those documents for your visa. They just need a contract, I think. I don't know exactly. So most hagwons will tell you to get like the apostille background check and the apostille transcript or degree,
Yeah.
because it's easier to do it in your country than trying to do it here.
Probably.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's a requirement for actually getting your visa. One way or the other, you're still gonna need it, right?
Yeah. So I had to get all those things apostilled, and then I had to courier it to my director in Korea
Before you came here.
before I came. So then my director took those documents, went to the immigration office,
And apply for your visa.
and applied for my visa. And then about a week or 2 weeks later, I got a number.
No,
Then I had to go to the Korean embassy in my country.
no,
And then that's when I gave them my passport.
no.
And then a week or 2 weeks later, I had to go back and pick up my passport with
the
the
visa.
visa in it. Yeah.
Can't you get your ARC there too then? Can't like the hagwon register you for your ARC? Do you have to be there in person to register for the ARC?
Yeah, because you need to take that photo as well.
Oh, you took a photo for the ARC?
No, I gave them a photo.
You gave them a photo.
Gave them a
Yeah.
photo, yeah.
You go to like a photo studio and you just take a photo.
Take like professional photos.
Right.
or-
So that's what apostille documents are. Depending on your visa, you might not need it, but for the most part, if you're going to be working at a hagwon, it is safe to have it done in your country. And most hagwons will tell you, like Ian said, to send it
yeah.
so that they can apply
And
for
make
your visa.
sure you have, before you send that parcel, make sure you have everything because it's not cheap. Like I paid close to 1,000 rand to do that.
You got to give me some.
Never mind. It's for me it was a lot of money.
But how much is that in dollars? Like, because I can tell you
Dollars?
dollars is like $50.
Close to $100 or maybe less.
Okay, it's around there. Yeah,
Around there.
Each
in
document
the,
is
in
like
the
50
ballpark.
bucks.
Yeah.
Roughly.
So I had to send that parcel, and I mean, like I said, for me it wasn't cheap. So luckily I got everything the first time, but some people I know they forgot to put in one thing, or something wasn't apostilled right, or
Yeah.
there was some problem. Then you have to send it again,
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, that just costs so much money. It takes so much longer,
Yeah.
and it's a headache for your new director, soon to be director.
No.
You know, so it's not a good start if you do stuff like that.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So obviously mistakes happen, but yeah. Just rather make sure before everything's done, before you send it, ask your director again, give me that list again. Let me
Yeah,
just
to
double
make sure,
check.
triple check
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you already gotten your job. The director had gotten your visa, so you did that whole process of giving your passport to the embassy, getting your visa.
Yeah.
And then you came to Korea, and then where
I
you
came to
experienced the
So
elevator
also
incident.
on that, some hagwons will
Yeah.
pay for your ticket, right? Some.
In the past, they did. So what happens now is, what ends up happening is hagwons ended up losing a lot of money because you pay for the ticket for the person,
Yeah.
and then they do a midnight dash,
Yes.
and then you're just kind of like you're just out of
We
that
probably
money.
need to tell them what a midnight.
Did we not
midnight
talk
run
about that in
is.
the first episode?
Maybe.
I remember we talked about it in one of the
One of
first
the
episodes, one of the first ones. So midnight dash is basically, it's very common in hagwons, especially among foreigners. But basically what you do is you go to
Okay,
work.
wait. It's not very common, and like
Oh, it's common, bro.
it's common, but like it doesn't happen at every hagwon.
No, every hagwon I've worked at, there has been at least one. At least one.
Wow.
Every hagwon. The hagwon I worked at before this
Okay,
one,
please tell the people what is a midnight run.
midnight run is basically when one day you go to work and you're just you're doing fine, and then something shitty happens and you're sitting there thinking, why the fuck am I here? What am I doing? I don't want to do this anymore. And the only thing binding you to this country is a contract and a visa, right? So, and you're not gonna have a ton of personal belongings in the first 3 or 4 months.
Probably
That's
not.
usually when it happens, like the first 3 or 4 months. Because once you hit a year, you get that extra money. The what's that called?
Severance.
You get severance for every year that you work. So once you hit like 6 months, you're just kind of like, well, fuck it, I'll just bear it out for 6 more months, get that money.
Yeah.
But in the first 2 or 3 months, if you're sitting here and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing here, I don't fucking like this, and one day you go to work and you just have a terrible day, what you do that day is you go home, you pack all your shit, and you just bounce.
You buy a plane ticket and you check out.
You just buy a plane ticket that night and you just bounce. You pack up all your shit and leave. And it happens. Like I said, for me, I've seen it a lot. And
I've met people that have done it. Like back in Chungju, the one night I was out, saw some foreigners. Like, whoa, foreigners in my city, you know. So obviously we spoke and had a chat, and they asked me, where do you work at? So I told them where I work, and I was like, no ways, we work there too, and we both left like midnight run, both of them.
So they don't have to leave the country?
No, they left. This was like years ago.
Ah.
And then obviously they just came back to visit or travel Korea now, because that's the other thing. Like we spoke on the contract and whatever. If you leave, from what I've heard, if you leave while your contract is still valid, you're not allowed to come back in Korea within that time or something, right?
I don't really know. I don't know the exact ramifications law-wise. Like the contract. So before I get into that, contracts in Korea are just pieces of paper. They don't mean shit.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this right off the bat, they don't, especially for foreigners. I mean, look, legally you're obligated to fulfill the contract. And I'm not talking about like contract in general. There's a law for obligating your contracts. There's a law for following what's said on your contract. But if you try to fight it, a lot of times you're going to end up losing. And that's what the problem is. Like they don't hold a lot of power. Right? So if you ever are going to sign a contract in Korea, you need to make sure that you also get a Korean contract, because the English contract will somewhat be enforceable. But if you get that translated into Korean and you hand it into the Ministry of Education, it's a bit more enforceable, right? Or Ministry of Education or whatever, wherever you're working, right?
And also, like I've noticed that from my English contracts that I have, some of those wording is very vague.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
On purpose.
That's on purpose,
though.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a law that prohibits you from re-entering the country. Like the contract.
What I've heard was, if your director goes to the immigration office and she reports you or whatever, then they can put a block on your. I think you can re-enter, but you're not allowed to work again. They won't give you another visa until that year is done or something. Yeah, until your contract period is done.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Somewhat it makes sense. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, that'll, like, people won't even midnight run. They'll say, okay, I'm going to work somewhere else.
Yeah,
you know
they just
what I mean?
bounce and go somewhere else. Yeah. Oh, while we're talking about that, just real quick, if you want to leave your current hagwon, we're talking to hagwon people, but if you want to leave your current hagwon, you need a letter of release. So basically, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but by the strict definition, you are a prisoner to that hagwon. As long as you are living in this country, you can't work anywhere else because they hold your visa rights. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Right. So you need to make sure that the hagwon gives you a letter of release that says, okay, you can leave this place.
Yeah, we and work allow somewhere you else. To leave.
Yeah. We give you permission to go work somewhere else.
And that's been a problem. Like I've seen on the, like I said, once again, the Facebook groups. We'll also have a list eventually of all the Facebook groups that are very helpful for foreigners. But there's one of the groups, I can't remember the name of the one, like legal issues in Korea or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of teachers that say, okay, my director is refusing to give me a release letter. Yeah. That does happen. Some of them will just flat out refuse to give you, and they don't have to by law, I guess.
Not really. I mean, once your year is up, I think they're supposed to give it to you.
Yeah, once your year is up, they don't have a choice. But I mean, like within your year.
Within your year, they don't have to give it to you.
They don't have to.
They don't have to because you signed.
So let's say after 6 months, you're tired, you want to leave to another place, they don't have to give you that release letter.
Which is why people do midnight dashes.
This is why.
Midnight runs. Like,
midnight run, yeah.
That's exactly why it happens.
Yeah.
So there might be some sort of ramification if you leave early.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't come back to the country for that long. Yeah, it's possible.
I know. Yeah.
But
Maybe we'll get an expert on that in the future when it talks
like a
about
lawyer or
immigration and
something,
lawyer and stuff like that.
immigration,
Yeah.
Ministry of Education.
If you know someone, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let
We
us
need
know.
experts because we're definitely not the experts.
Even
yeah.
if they're Korean, let us know.
Yeah.
Because we want to
Anyone.
learn about this
Yeah.
too.
I
And
know
not,
one of the groups there's a lawyer that posts in English, like she's a Korean, but she posts in English. Maybe we'll shout out to her one day and say,
yeah. Hey,
Let's
check out
meet
our
up.
show and then
Yeah.
come and
Yeah.
give us a lesson.
Help
and
us.
Shit. Yeah.
help us help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help us help each other.
Yeah.
How did we get here? Ministry of Education, Apostle document. We were talking about your process.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. So then now we go back to the elevator where you learned about Korean manners within the first 30 minutes of you being here.
That's right.
You went down the elevator and then and then
Yeah.
you got on the bus, right? We talked
Eventually
about the bus.
got on the bus, the
Yeah.
right bus, and then my director came, picked me up from the bus station, from the
Okay.
terminal, and she took me straight to the Hagwon, the
Uh-huh.
academy.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, this was during Christmas, so the kids were getting ready for a Christmas play,
Mm.
all right? So they all had a Christmas play going on, and then they have this huge playroom where they practice, and they have a little stage in front.
No.
So the kids were practicing their lines and stuff like that. So
In English. Well, full English?
Full English, yeah. In that Hagwon, no one's allowed to speak Korean. No one.
Okay.
So the only time they're allowed to speak Korean is when they have the Korean teacher come in and teach them Korean
Right.
or math or history or whatever those subjects are,
Okay.
and music teacher and PE teacher.
Okay. Music and PE were also in Korean?
Yeah. Everything else, English.
What did you teach in English? Were there like different subjects?
Yeah, we had arts and crafts. Usually on Fridays, I had arts and crafts with them, and then every other day I had like one day was reading, one day was science. I love teaching them science. That was so fun. Yeah.
So you thought you didn't just teach English. You didn't just teach English. You taught like a variety of subjects.
Variety of stuff. Yeah, we had there was phonics for the younger kids. We had phonics, and then after phonics, you move up to reading, and then arts and crafts. That's all in English.
Right.
Everything was in English except obviously, like I said, the other subjects. Yeah. Yeah, and but yeah, that first day, dude, I was sitting there in that the playroom,
No.
because it's a playroom. That's where they play after lunch usually.
Mm.
That's where they play, and then that's the stage in front. And I remember my feet were smelling so bad
Because you were just in the airplane.
because
for
I
so
was
long.
I haven't taken a shower in like a day. I was in Hong Kong where it was hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
Now I'm in Korea, it's cold. I was sitting on the bus. I was traveling for more than 24 hours,
Jesus.
and then I'm sitting there exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, please, just can I go home?
Yeah.
I just want to shower. I just
Yeah.
want to go shower and sleep. That's all I want to do. And yeah, eventually we stayed there for a couple of hours, and yeah, just thinking to myself like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
So let's backtrack a little bit. You're already at the Hagwon. Even before the Hagwon, did you take care of like, was there anything you had an opportunity to do except get on the bus?
No.
Okay. Now think back now, knowing all that you know for the 6 years you lived here.
Yeah.
If you had the same opportunity, a do-over, and you came to Korea, would you do some things at the airport before you took the bus to Chungju?
Chungju.
Chungju, yeah.
Yeah. For sure, there's a lot of things that I do different now that I know about it. First of all, when I land, I'll go actually and take a shower at the airport.
They have showers at the airport?
Yeah, they have. It was closed during COVID. I'm sure it might be open now, but there's like a sauna area, like a bathhouse place at
Really?
the airport. Yeah,
At Incheon?
at Incheon. And
Inside the airport.
inside. Also, they have another one that's like they have like cubicles where you can go and sleep. It's like a small little room that you can rent out.
What? I don't know about these.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know about these.
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot what the name of the place is. Cubes? No, I might be wrong. Anyway, you can go there and you can pay per hour. Like, if you want to sleep for 6 hours, some of them have a nice little shower.
No.
Or you have, like, the one where it's just a room and there's a communal shower.
Okay.
All right? Then you can go there. You can just unload, take a shower, maybe sleep for 2 or 3 hours, 6 hours, whatever. And then that's what I would do first, actually. I would get off the plane, go there, unpack my stuff, just take a nice shower, and then get on the bus and come.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the first thing I would do. Also, obviously, we didn't get time to exchange money. Because, like, when we got off there, my director was pressuring us just to get on the first bus out.
Do you know what this means in Korean?
No.
Oh, this hand signal means like sex.
Oh, really?
Just a little lesson there.
Alright,
For
well,
everybody watching
no, I
too.
know.
I don't know if you can show it to the camera.
Don't do
Yeah,
this.
don't do that. Unless you want
unless
to.
you
Unless
intend
you
to
want
do
to.
it,
Yeah.
But yeah, so my director was pressuring us to get the first bus out of there so we can be there to start our training as soon as possible, you know.
So
But
before that, did you register your card or anything so you can use it abroad before you left the country? Like you're gonna need some sort of payment method to pay for things. Like how did you pay for the bus?
uh, before we left to
Uh,
come here
yeah.
in South Africa, we went and we exchanged some money
Okay.
for dollars. Yeah, because none of the banks in South Africa had Korean ones.
No, but then you'd also have to change the dollars in Korea when you got here.
Yes. So maybe we did that.
Yeah, you might have had to because I know the bus don't take dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of one of the big things is like,
Or maybe I used my international card for that.
and that's what I'm thinking. So you you got to come prepared, right? Like one way or
Yeah.
the other, you either have to have some. At the airport, they have currency exchange, so you can actually exchange money there, or you need to enable your card to pay for foreign. I don't know if you have to.
I don't know if you have to.
I think you
'cause
just charge it and you get charged.
I
the fee.
definitely didn't do that, but my card worked in Korea.
But some cars will like block it because they think it's like a scam
Yeah,
transaction
yeah.
in a different country.
Yeah, so to be safe, I would say go do that and say, listen, I'm going to South Korea, whatever. Talk to your bank and say, just like,
Yeah.
don't block my card.
And if
Because
that's
I
the
remember
case,
something did happen eventually with my card. I tried to use it online for
Yeah.
something and then it got blocked.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think first thing is figure out a way to get money or pay for things in your first few days here. But also try to figure out in the first few days, I say your best bet is also. I know we want to talk about prepaid phones at the airport, but now I'm thinking about we're talking about it, and I'm almost thinking that it's better to just enable roaming on your phone
Yeah.
in the first few days
First few days.
because you can always get a prepaid phone when you in your neighborhood, right?
Sure.
So you don't have to get one at the airport.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually
And
the
also,
better
it's
alternative.
maybe easier to set up because, I mean,
Yeah.
if you get that new pin and then some of the stuff might,
Yeah.
I think it might be easier just to do roaming.
Yeah. So
Might
for
be a
the,
bit more expensive.
no, yeah, for the first like month or so, I would say not
Yeah,
even
Not even.
first few.
Because the thing
days.
is, you're only going to need it when you're not at home. Because as soon as you get home or work or anywhere, there's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, there's Wi-Fi everywhere in this
Yeah.
country, everywhere, Yeah.
Everywhere.
So you'll be fine. But
Yeah.
also, you imagine wherever you're gonna end up working, there's gonna be somewhere to help. There's gonna be somebody there
Yeah.
to help you figure out how to at least get a prepaid phone or sign up for a
Yeah.
phone later.
Because
So,
that's a problem that I ran into when I got here first. It took it took my director, I think it took more than a month for me to get my ARC.
Yeah.
Right? Because also when you guys come here, push your director to go and get that paperwork done as soon as possible. Because we only went to the immigration office probably 3 weeks after I got here.
I'm pretty sure you can prepare those documents before, as in like all you have to do is give the documents to the teacher.
Yeah.
And the teacher just
No,
have to bring them
our
forward.
documents were ready.
That's what I mean.
The only thing is that we had to take a day off, like in the morning, because the immigration office
You don't have
in my city wasn't in my city, it was in Chungju.
and
It
you
was
also work in the
same-
mornings, so
in
you
the
can't go in
mornings.
the mornings.
So
yeah.
that's why ours was so delayed,
Mm,
because there was nothing she could do about the schedule, and we had to go, and it was 2 teachers that had to go.
mm.
So eventually, like 3 weeks later, she took us, and then I think another week or maybe 2 weeks later, we had to go back and pick it up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes time to process.
So that's why it took so long, and then only when you get your ARC, then you can get a bank account number.
Yeah.
Then you can get paid.
And your cell phone and everything.
And then, yeah, when you also get your bank account, put your cell phone number in, and then, yeah, all those things.
Yeah. So I know we're talking about a lot of terminology that you might not be familiar with, but we'll get to it.
Yeah. Sorry, your ARC is your Korean ID.
You know what
that
the
you're
ARC
gonna get.
stands for?
Alien registration card.
Yeah. Alien registration card. And in Korea, you need either a Korean ID because each Korean ID has their own number. So that number, you need that number for everything.
Yeah.
Almost everything. So ARC is like that number for foreigners. You know that that number signifies like there's a significance to each of those numbers.
I've heard of it. But I don't know what it is. Yeah.
I don't exactly remember all of it, but I know that the first 6 numbers are your birth date with the last 2 numbers of your year. So if you're born in 1988, your first 2 numbers of your card will be 88. And then it'll be the month
Yeah.
and the
And
day. So for example, like if you're born December 27, 2007, it'll be 07 12 27.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the first 6 numbers. And then and then there's a dash.
Yeah.
And then there's, I think, 7 more numbers. So the 7 numbers, what that tells you is the first number, if you start with a 5, it means you're a foreigner. So mine starts with a 5.
Yeah.
Also a 5,
Same.
right? In Korea, it's like it used to be 1 is a boy and 2 is a girl. But now I think there's too many boys and girls, or they ran out of combinations.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to like 5 and 6 now. And then 3 and 4, I heard about something about 3 and 4, but I don't exactly remember. And then the rest of those numbers, from what I remember, is supposed to be like where you live or where you were born. It signifies like your city and your district and stuff like
For
that.
Koreans, though.
That's what I remember hearing. Yeah,
Oh,
for
interesting.
Koreans. For the foreigners, I don't know. It might be the place we registered at.
Maybe.
But I don't exactly know. But yeah, you need that number for everything here. So that's what Ian means by ARC. So yeah, push your academy or whatever workplace you decide to work at. Push
as
them.
soon as possible, because once you get your ARC, then you can get a bank account. So then there's no excuse for your boss not to pay and stuff like that. Because we also got paid late the first month
because
we didn't have bank accounts, right? She did give us a bit of cash eventually because like we were running out of money. Another thing, talking about money, for your first month you come to Korea, you're not going to get paid once you land, right? So make sure you have enough put away so that you can live comfortably for that first month.
Yeah, usually the way it works like this everywhere in the world. You work your first 30 days and then you get paid maybe 10 days later. So if you work all of January, or it depends. Like companies, what they usually do is if you work your month of January, they'll pay you in like the 10th or 15th of February.
Okay.
That's how salaries work. For Hagwons, it's a little different based on the Hagwon, but some Hagwons do that too.
Okay.
Right? But the one that we're working at, it's based on your start date. 1 month after your start date, you get paid on your start date every
My first
year.
Hagwon was the same, based on my start dates, and then every month you get paid on that same day.
But it depends. And then depending on the director, like some of them will kind of give you a cash advance too, because they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm sure you need money for all your shit.
A nice one, yeah.
Yeah, so it depends, but yeah.
Yeah, and also you're not going to get paid on time every single time, depending on obviously your Hagwon.
Depending on the Hagwon. Some people are just
my first Hagwon, I was there for 3 years, and I think I got paid on time maybe 5 times.
Seriously?
Yeah.
You always got it late?
Always got it late. And I wasn't the only one. There was some excuse that the parents pay later, and my payday is right in front of where the parents always usually pay, so they didn't have funds to free us. So there's always some bullshit excuse. But yeah,
the place we're working now is like right on the dot.
Oh yeah, every day.
Every day. On the dot.
Yeah. Yeah, the last 2 places that I worked at, they used to pay every single time. And sometimes, like if it's on the weekend, let's say your payday's on a Saturday or Sunday, maybe they'll pay it on Friday. Yeah. So that is quite nice. But yeah, so it just depends on your Hagwon. That's one of the first questions you can ask if you have an interview with another teacher working at that Hagwon. Ask them straight up, listen, do you get paid every day? Or do you get paid on time?
Yeah. If we're going to start talking about interviews.
Hopefully they're going to tell the truth, but
yeah. So that's where there are a lot of questions that you want to ask in interviews. And what you'll tend to find is that, at least in the Hagwon industry, if you interview and then always ask to speak to the foreigner that's working there. That's number one.
The one leaving.
The one, whoever is there.
Well, hopefully,
at that moment.
I would say the best prize would be speak to the one that's leaving,
the
one you're replacing.
Yeah.
Because that one might be more truthful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least talk to one foreigner. The best case is the one that's leaving, the one you're replacing, because they'll tell you exactly why they're leaving. And what you'll end up finding is that foreigners are more honest to each other because we're all foreigners.
Yeah.
So we all kind of just try to look out for each other. We're not going to try to screw each other, right?
Sure.
So we try to look out for each other and we tell each other the truth. So when you get on the phone with that foreigner, just ask them everything.
Actually, you can also speak to someone that is still going to work there, because if that person lies to you, and then you guys still need to work together for another year, and you're like, hey man, you told me we get paid every day. Well, what's going on here?
I mean, I talk to at least 2 or 3 people whenever I go to a job interview at a Hagwon. Like the one in Changwon, I spoke to all the foreigners there, every single one.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, because
before I came, I only spoke to one guy.
They're all gonna give you a different story.
Yeah. He was a nice guy, so I was like, yeah, I'm sold. You know, you got me. But like, I did end up staying 3 years at that place. So,
right. So, yeah. And you did you interview the next guy?
Oh yeah, I interviewed everyone else after that. Yeah.
So it works out. And some of the questions you might want to ask are like what Ian said. Is the pay on time?
Yeah.
And then don't be afraid to ask how the director is, because they'll be super honest about that. they'll tell you, oh, he's a fucking asshole, or be like, oh, he's
Or
the best.
if they spin the story, then you can try and read between the lines.
Yeah, because
right?
the
They
director
say-
might be standing right next to them.
yeah, or in the same room or something. You say,
Yeah.
"Oh no, she's great."
Yeah, like, oh,
you
yeah,
know,
you know,
yeah.
everything's perfect. There's
Yeah,
no
sometimes those
problems.
directors will stand over your shoulder while you do those interviews.
Yeah.
So yeah, just be careful with that. And yeah, we should make an episode just about the interviews and recruiting and what are the questions you need to ask, because there's a long list of.
I think what we can do is just a mock interview.
Oh yeah, we can
Because
do
I'm
that,
used
yeah.
to interviewing candidates.
Yeah, yeah.
So we could pretend like one of us is a candidate and one of us is
Yeah.
an interviewee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll
we
we'll
could do
actually
that.
do that,
Let's
and
just do one
then
of
we'll
those.
guide you through the process, which questions to ask for.
Yeah.
And like, don't be afraid to ask those questions, because I mean, this is your future. You're gonna spend a whole year at this place working, so you don't want to mess it up by being scared to ask the right questions. You
Yeah.
know.
I'm almost
You
like,
need
did you ever see that guy on Instagram, the Asian guy who plays himself on both sides of an interview?
Nope.
Oh, there's this one guy, and I almost think we could do it that kind of like that while we're
Mhm.
talking about this. But when we do it later, he just goes back and forth. He's wearing different outfits,
Okay.
but he's asking like typical questions you should ask at an interview or at your job when you ask for a promotion.
Yeah.
And like his most famous catchphrase is like signed an NDA. You don't know about that?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch this video.
Yeah. Send it to me. I'll watch it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll have a whole separate interview about. I mean, whole episode or maybe like a how-to.
Yeah.
About interviewing.
Yeah.
In Korea.
Just going back. So yeah, like I said, my director picked us up. We stayed there, and then eventually that night she booked us into a motel. Right.
Right.
Because the teachers that we were replacing, they were still in Korea for another 2 days. So we had to wait for them to move out before we could move in on that Saturday. So yeah, we checked into a hotel, and then eventually we moved in on the Saturday, and yeah, the place wasn't dirty, right? But it wasn't as clean as I would have wanted,
Right.
or as clean as I would have left it for someone else.
And that's gonna be
Right.
the case for a lot of the places you move
Yeah.
into. And just real quick, circling back, I think when you were talking about the hotel, I know some people that hotels are nice until you have to live there for about 3 months. And I know some people that worked in my old hagwon that were like, they stayed at a motel without a bed for 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, the house is coming. We're looking.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing the story, and the teacher, she was like, yeah, no, I stayed at a hotel for the first 3 months, and I asked for a bed, and they didn't give me a bed. And, you know, you got to really be careful
just
with that stuff.
also on that, in Korea, it's common to book a hotel that doesn't have beds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Korean people sleep on the floor.
Yeah.
So
Well,
not these days, not everyone.
Yeah, not so much. But I mean, it's also they've got, what is it called? Like the floor.
It's called ondol, but it's like,
Ondol,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like a heated rock. Right? They heat the floor, basically.
They heat the floor, yeah.
Yeah. Did we talk about this in the first episode? The heater, where it comes out of? Like
I think
usually
one of the episodes.
not
I don't
this,
know.
okay.
I don't know.
So I don't know if we talked about this, but I'm gonna talk about it again because it's very important you know this. In Korea, the heat comes from the floor. So basically when you turn on the heater, there's pipes underneath each floor. And what happens is there's water that runs through these pipes, and then that water connects to a boiler. And that boiler, when you turn it on, what it does is it uses gas to heat the water. So you're gonna see a direct reflection on your gas bill for that.
Yeah.
Right? But
And gas just recently went up.
oh yeah. Gas
Like,
goes up, electricity goes up.
last year. I think it was because of the Russia thing.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because they can't get gas from there anymore.
Yeah, because as soon as that happened, my gas prices shot up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't really. It's so when you're living in Korea, it's better to live on a higher floor because heat always rises, right?
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is if you live on like the 5th or 6th floor, you get basically all the residual heat.
And also, if you live in between other apartments, like if you're the middle one,
If you're the middle one, then
that's
you get
nice
the heat
for
from
the heat.
there.
Because in Chungju, I never used to put on my heat because like it
didn't
was
have
always
to.
nice.
Yeah.
So I just saved so much money on the gas.
Yeah.
But now where I'm at the top, but I've got nothing around me. I've got
Windows
the
everywhere. Yeah.
corner apartment as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets pretty cold up here.
Yeah. So I think that's the way the boiler works is the water runs through the pipes on the floor and through the boiler. And as it runs, the gas keeps heating the water, right? So it takes a little bit of time to build up the heat. But basically, that's why people sometimes sleep on the floor because the floor is very warm.
Yeah.
And the reason I bring this up is because in other countries, especially like America, you don't heated floors is like a luxury,
In
right?
South Africa too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the rich people have heated
Yeah, yeah,
floors.
yeah. You go to a rich person's house and you go to the bathroom and it's like, oh, this floor
my
is warm.
God.
It's fucking nice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but in Korea, it's kind of a normal thing to have. So when you're sleeping on the floor, if you have a thin mattress, it's not terrible because it's
not
nice and warm.
And sometimes, like I said, I've been on like trips and ski trips and stuff like that where we slept on the floor and like it's actually nice.
No, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
good for your back sometimes
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Speaking of the boilers and stuff, we're gonna try and make separate videos for you how to work the boilers because we know that's a very typical question in Korea.
Yeah.
Like, because everything's Korean and there's so many different buttons and settings to choose from. And I'm sure we both have 2 different boilers, so we can just like take a video and we'll show how to use. If your one looks like mine, this is how you do it. If yours looks like his,
Right.
yeah.
And across all the boilers, all the control panels, there are same terminologies.
Terminology.
Yeah.
Should
So
be, right?
it should be somewhat consistent across all of them.
Because one turns on your floor, one turns on your water, right?
No, so one turns on. There's one that just turns on just the water.
Just like shower
Just
water.
the shower water,
and
the sink water, just the water, and
yeah.
that saves you the most gas.
Yeah.
And then the next one is it turns on your floor and it turns on your
And the
it'll
water.
turn your
And you
water.
can use
Yeah.
the water too.
The water will always turn on, no
Yeah.
matter what you turn on. If it's on, the water will.
But you have to
always
turn on the whole system though.
for the water.
Yeah.
No, it's
Like
like,
mine
a
has a
residual.
button that you have to turn on the whole thing for either one to work. It never stays on.
No, you leave it on. The water one you always leave on because that one.
I never leave it on.
No, the heat doesn't escape unless you turn the water on. It's a
So just the water one, right?
yeah, just the water.
So
one.
yeah, that's one I've forgotten on or left on. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never leave like the ondol on.
No, you don't leave that one on. But
No.
there are like settings, and that's where it starts getting complicated.
Yeah.
It's like,
You can get a timer.
yep, you can make a reservation. You can have it so that it's set to a certain temperature.
Yeah. And then it
And-
turns off once it reaches that temperature.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And then there's a whole not conspiracy, but there's this whole theory about like, oh, you should leave it on because it costs more to heat the place back up.
yeah.
And like that's a whole conversation there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So each button, like it's a little different. So we'll talk about the functions a little bit more in our
Okay.
like how-to videos somewhere
Yeah.
down the line. And I think for now that it's a lot that we talked about today.
Yeah.
So we covered a lot of topics.
Yeah. We're gonna continue this one. We'll do like a part 2 on just welcoming to Korea, right? We'll do a part 2, and then we'll get more into the stuff like, when you get to your new apartment, right? We spoke about that. We touched on the boiler, and then there's like a couple of other things that you need to know about your apartment, like the recycling, the trash,
Right.
a bunch of things at your apartment, and then also how to get around using the public transport.
And then we
right?
should also the public transport.
Yeah.
Because we kind of talked about how you took it, but we didn't really talk about that process. 'cause
Yeah,
that's
there's a
whole-
process, and we're gonna do a whole video on that, and also screen recording and show you exactly how to sign up, how to use the public transport and stuff.
Yeah,
like
because you could actually pay for your bus right now, like just on your phone. Even in a different country, you can reserve your bus.
Okay.
So it's possible to do
Yeah.
that.
And also with like a car taxi, you can just pay the driver.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
with
you can still
cash.
use the system.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a natural cut for this episode.
All right, guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we'll continue this next time.
Yeah. Thanks again. Please
for watching.
remember to leave comments. Tell us what you guys want to know, and yeah, be sure to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
See you in the next one.
Yeah.
Ciao.
You gotta do your Korean ending, bro.
안녕히
there you
계세요, 여러분.
All right. So if you like this video, please click subscribe in the middle over here and check out our links below under the video.
And also make sure to click on the notification icon so that you can stay up to date with our future episodes. And be sure to leave some comments below and let us know what you would like us to discuss in future episodes.